Hey everyone! As you guys might know, in addition to the 2 new battle suits and their equipment being added in version 3.5, there will also be the addition of 2 new PRI-ARMs, the 11th Leitourgia and the Positron Blasters. As expected, the 11th Leitourgia is an extremely useful support weapon, not unlike the 11th Sacred Relic before it. The Positron Blasters, however, is really interesting. Despite the hyper railguns being severely underutilized, it was nonetheless a DPS weapon. But with the Positron Blasters, Night Moonbeam is effectively turned into a support Valkyrie. Now, the support aspects of the weapon can also contribute to her DPS capabilities, making her an effective DPS Valkyrie as well. With that being said, physical damage buffs that teammates can also make use of are better used when stacked together. Not to mention, Night Moonbeam has already been widely used as a support Valkyrie in the Memorial Arena for her incredibly powerful leader skill and her ability to easily trigger time fractures. So we're just gonna keep that in mind, but first off, we are going to look at Night Moonbeam as a DPS Valkyrie just to see the extent of her DPS capabilities. Personally, she was my first S-rank Valkyrie, and I did rely on her as a DPS in the early stages of the game, so, you know, I do kind of understand her issues being a DPS. First off, her combo attacks trade damage for AoE, and back then, when there were only 4 S-rank Valkyries and wide area ultimates were really rare, not being able to use her ultimate often made it really redundant. In fact, it still is. Of course, there's the issue of its long cast time and its damage not justifying the cast time, but it was mainly because her combo attacks, despite being her main form of attacks, do not gain any SP at all. The solution the Positron Blasters provide is with its first passive ability. Every 20 hits Night Moonbeam dishes out, generates a lightning chain that can attack up to 4 enemies and paralyze them. When used on Night Moonbeam, the chain restores 1 SP for every non-paralyzed and 2 SP for every paralyzed enemy it hits. So with this, you probably wouldn't have to change your stigmata, you could still stick with Kepler T and M with Cleopatra B, or you could go with Schrödinger Band's full set on Night Moonbeam, that works as well. And for its second passive ability, the wielder gains 20% movement speed and 50% critical damage for combo attacks. Additionally, if Night Moonbeam is the one using this weapon, her evasion skill boosts the team's physical damage by 20% for 12 seconds. This skill does, however, have a 30-second cooldown. So that's something to note because Night Moonbeam's evasion skill cools down way faster than this skill, so the team won't be getting that physical damage buff all the time. There will be an 18-second gap from the first time it ends to the next time it can be activated. Then of course, we do move back to the weapon's active skill, which requires 0 SP, has 2 charges, and has a 20-second cooldown. Night Moonbeam also gains the ability to immediately use her combo attack after using a weapon active skill. She also gains the ability to use the weapon active skill to increase the physical vulnerability of targets by 20% for 8 seconds. In general, this weapon is really strong, and it's not just for its stats, and not just for Night Moonbeam. For captains who have broken through the level limit but are still under-equipped, this will make a good addition to your arsenal. And even better, if you've had a hyper railgun that's been maxed out but flying around and catching dust, this upgrade is gonna make that effort totally worth it. One thing that's really gonna help Night Moonbeam, and probably even open up new options to other pistol users, is the weapon's innate ability to paralyze. Night Moonbeam wouldn't have to rely heavily on Kepler, and other pistol users would have the option of using Cleopatra B. Not that it's gonna be incredibly strong or anything, but at least there is an extra damage option. Now, back to the 11th Leitourgia. It attacks 2 times slower than the 11th Sacred Relic, but it does not have to pick a target and just blasts everything in its range. It does also deal 3 times more damage, so with the difference in their attack speeds, it deals 1.5 times what the 11th Sacred Relic deals while it is deployed. But of course, this weapon is not used mainly for its offensive capabilities, it is used for its support abilities. Its active skill increases the critical rate of nearby teammates by 20%. That's double of what the 11th Sacred Relic provides. When used on the Celestial Hymn, she gains 5 SP per second while the cross is deployed, and it's worth noting that she does not have to be on the field to continue gaining SP. Then we move on to its 2 passive abilities. The first one, well, It's basically just an upgrade of the 11th Sacred Relic, and it's not by a lot. Previously, it was a 40% chance to heal the team for 74 HP with a 3-second cooldown. Now, it's a 60% chance for 89 HP, and still with a 3-second cooldown. Honestly, even if it were like a 100% chance with 100 HP, this skill doesn't really make a huge impact. I'm not saying it's completely useless, it just doesn't really fit into the explosive level of gameplay this kind of weapon is used for. But enough of that. Last ability this weapon has can probably make up for that lackluster first passive. With this cross, the team gains a 10% increase in SP gained when attacking. The Celestial Hymn herself gains 35%. This, paired with the SP regeneration while the cross is deployed, allows the Celestial Hymn to spend a much shorter amount of time on the field, increasing the efficiency of all teams she is placed in. Overall, PRI-ARMs in general are great additions to the game. So far, all PRI-ARMs introduced do not require any gacha to obtain, as the base weapon for one of them is available in the BP shop, and the other can be forged by hunting bounty marks. They do require high amounts of Honkai crystals to forge and upgrade, but over time, those can be farmed too. It is a really nice way to bring characters back into the limelight without having to constantly rework them to the point where they no longer resemble their original forms. But let me know what you think about the PRI-ARMs in the comments, and also don't forget to comment on which weapon you are most excited to see get a PRI-ARM upgrade. So as always, this has been MG, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys soon.